Hello, welcome back to my knitting channel. Happy St Andrew's Day to all of you who are Scottish or to anybody who's interested in St Andrew, the patron saint of Scotland. Today we have a Scottish theme for you. So I am going back to the past, back to my past anyway, to have a look at the Bruins and Oor Willie. The Bruins and Oor Willie is a cartoon strip that appeared in a Sunday newspaper in Glasgow anyway. I don't know if it was out with Glasgow, it was certainly in Glasgow. My mum used to get a paper on a Saturday night, late on a Saturday night, for the Sunday's paper, and inside I would always go look for the cartoon of the Bruins and Oor Willie. So it's got a nice picture of Glencoe inside, one of the prettiest places in Scotland. If you're ever visiting, Glencoe's a lovely place to go to. So it's just the price ticket there. Here we have an example of a cartoon strip about Oor Willie, and if you look up here, there he is on his bucket. So he was famous for sitting on his bucket. He's reading a newspaper there, but sometimes he was just sitting waiting for something to happen. And the Bruins is a family of characters and drawn in a similar way by the same person. And down here, this is a kind of commemorative album. This it's not an album. What do you call it? An annual, yeah. And it's from the Sunday Post. This is an extract from the 29th of April 1956. So this particular book has pages from over the years 1956 to 1969, called the Glory Years here. So the Bruins, Brown is a Scottish word for brown. So the family were called the Brown family, although I don't think I actually realised that when I was a child. To me, they were just the Bruins. There's a certain number of characters in them. I think most of them are in the very first, in fact, probably this end one here. It was good fun. It's a bit of social history. You'll go back, if you're going to read the Bruins or Oor Willie, you'll go back in time and see what was used in those particular years. So, not just here to show you a comic strip, I'm here to tell you about Knit Your Own Bruins. Knit Your Own Bruins book, which came out a number of years ago. I wonder if it tells me in this. And it's by Jackie Holt and Ruth Bailey. And it's got all of the characters there in the front. Now just have a wee look and see when it was published. 2014. So it's been out for a number of years. I got this a few years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, but I hadn't knitted anything from it. So we'll just have a wee look at this front cover again, this little family picture of all the people in the Bruins family. It says underneath it, Scotland's favourite family. So they lived in a place like Glasgow, if it isn't Glasgow, but they also had a wee Button Ben out in the country, a wee cottage, a wee holiday cottage they went to. They were always getting into all sorts of scraps and scrapes. So here we have a knitting book then for all of the characters. And I thought, oh, this is perfect for me. I would love to make up my own set of Bruins. So the book is well presented. It gives you photographs of your finished character, so you can go back and refer to that for details, especially for facial features. And it's got a list of materials down the side here and then onto the needles. It also gives you a little bit about each character too. The pattern inside looks a bit like this. Looks perfectly normal, perfectly well laid out, giving you the row numbers, etc. and all the different parts of it. So I just started at the front with paw, and this is where I got to. Sorry to disappoint. I've only got a body and an incomplete head. A body and a head that's not finished and not attached yet. Not even any arms, although it's nice to have the boots on here. I had a problem with this pattern. The instructions were very clear, that wasn't the problem. I was using these little balls of yarn that if you've been watching my other videos, you'll know that I really like. And I was wanting to keep these for something special for myself, so making things that I would be keeping for me. And changing yarns is usually no bother at all when you've got a pattern or a pattern book. But you do need to make sure your tension is the same as the tension set out in the book. So it tells you whether it's double knit and sometimes what's the actual content of the yarn. So this is Rowan Baby Merino Silk double knitting, and then the colour, etc. There's a 4-ply. So this goes on to Debbie Bliss, then it goes on to Sublime Lace, then Fine Lace, back to Debbie Bliss, Rialto Lace, Rowan Fine Tweed, Mila Mia Naturally Soft Merino, and then back to another Debbie Bliss, different one again. So it kind of switches different brands of yarn, and that's not common in patterns. I think I talked about switching yarns for the little Christmas rose flower brooch in the On the Needles video last week, because I wanted a nice crisp flower and wanted to use the cotton for that. But I don't really see why these all have to be different brands unless they were looking for a particular colour and only those colours would do. The problem I have is that it doesn't give a tension gauge. So I couldn't do a tension swatch to see if I could replace it with another yarn, so the yarn that I've got. So it worked out fine. I don't even know if I don't think it gave the size of the actual character either, which may have given me a clue so that I could adjust the yarns. No, it doesn't tell you the size of your finished character, and it doesn't give you a tension gauge. So I kind of just abandoned it at that point. Oops, he's on the wrong way there. I love the shaping of the head. It was a strange one where I just had to trust the instructions, but look how it's got the chin there and everything. It is really good, and it'll be really nice when it is finished. But for me to go and knit up the different pieces and then adjust the size of them is just going to be a bit too much work for the time that I've got at the moment. So he will go aside and I will return to him later. I'm not going to buy all of these yarns suggested here because they're actually the kind of high-end yarns. It would probably cost a fortune. If you think about it, about even £5 a ball for these yarns, which is quite a conservative amount. You've got 9 different ones, so 9 fives are £45 just for this character, although some of them might be big enough to do like parts of the other characters as well. But I thought, no, I want to use up yarns that I've got already. So I will return to this, and maybe by next St Andrew's Day next year, you might have a finished character, or with any luck, characters. So I love the book. It's beautifully presented. The characters really do look like the characters in the comic strips, and it's nice to see them in colour because the comic strips were only ever in black and white. Well, as far as I know, I think if you buy an annual, they usually release an annual each year at Christmas time. And sometimes they were in colour, but I don't know if that was just the front cover of them. I'm just looking at this hair here. This hair is fabulous. it's put together. So you can see if they're looking for different brands of yarn for this kind of textured effect, you can understand that you would need a different yarn. But this is one I'm going to have to return to and try and work out for myself. I think at the time when I was knitting it, I actually thought I'll just stop and just make my own characters. I'll just design it myself. But because this is a licensed cartoon, I wouldn't be able to sell that pattern. It would just have to be made for me. But we'll see. We'll see how we get on with it. I'm not going to dismiss it altogether. I love the look of them. I like the size of them. They're kind of a good size for me to have. But it will take me a lot of work to get it to this stage here. So unfortunately, you don't have a Bruins character for this St Andrew's Day, which is what my hope was. However, I will share with you another book you might be interested in, if you're particularly interested in Scotland, is Knit Your Own Scotland, again by the same authors as the last one, or the same designers as the last one. And you might recognise some of these characters here on the front, so I think we can see inside. This might be either Bonnie Prince Charlie or Robert Burns, perhaps. This must be Billy Connolly, if you've heard of him, the comedian. And this here looks like Rob Roy or William Wallace, somebody from history, Scottish warrior. This one here, I wonder if he's Bonnie Prince Charlie and he's the Robert Burns characters, what I had suggested a minute ago. This here must be Andy Murray. Of course, we've got the very famous Nessie, which is nice, and it looks as if this is not actually knitted, but I'm presuming it is a little Scotty dog there. A couple of little Scottish things on the edges of it as well. So we've got St Andrew's flag, and we've got the Tunnock's tea cakes. A lovely, a lovely tea time treat for people in Scotland. So it gives you a contents list. I can see the name William Wallace there, so I think that might have been who he was, right enough. Robert Burns and Bonnie Prince Charlie are in there. Billy Connolly and Banana Boots. Did we see Banana Boots there? Oh, they're hidden. We'll have a wee look at that in a minute. And various other ones, including a chocolate tea cake. So that's actually in here too. So let's have a wee quick look. So it's giving you a wee bit of the history of the characters here. So there's William Wallace and a little bit about him there from what he was famous for. The pictures are, again, like the Bruins, are superb. Lots of detail. The eyebrows are something else in that character. Let's have a look. So the layout is very similar to the other book. Apologies if the light from the windows shining on it and you can't see. The other one I think were cream page background pages. And let me see. No, we don't seem to have a tension gauge here either. So if I wanted to do this and switch out the yarns, I'd have the same problem as before. Funnily, with it having Robert Burns in there, I was just watching on the news just about half an hour ago that they're trying to open up, or not open up, but refurbish a museum in Dumfries where Robert Burns wrote Auld Lang Syne. Apparently it's starting to get very damp and kind of dilapidated a little bit. So they're looking for, I think it was suggested £15 million to get it repaired. And it shows you his desk in there, and apparently he wrote Auld Lang Syne at his desk there. So there we go. Very famous Scottish person. Oh, here's our Bonnie Prince Charlie. And oh, here's Billy Connolly. We still can't see his banana boots of what he was famous for way back a long time ago. I don't even know if I was alive at the time when he was famous for his banana boots. Let's see it here. Billy Connolly is one of the funniest men ever to come out of Scotland. Born in 1942, the Big Yin worked in the Glasgow shipyards and started his entertainment career as a folk singer with the Humble Bums before gradually using his trademark sense of humour to become a hugely successful comedian. 1970s Banana Boots, sorry. So I was still a bit young then. Here's a picture of the Banana Boots. Now I have to say they are fabulous. They are really good. I might start with Billy Connolly from this book. I'll see. So I won't go through all of the book, I don't think that's fair, but if you're interested in Scottish things, then check this out. I'll just show you the little Scotty dog here, the Scottish Terrier. So it really is knitted. It's an Eskimo double knit, Stylecraft Eskimo double knit in black for it. So, yeah, very nice. So I've yet to knit anything from this, but I'm going to have my Knit for Scotland playlist on YouTube, and whenever I do anything like this, it can go into there. So that was a bit unfortunate not to have something for you today, but at least you know why. You know what the problem is when I was knitting these things up. And hopefully I'll get something sorted for a later date. Maybe it'd be quite nice to do Robert Burns for Burns Day in January, on 25th of January. We'll have a wee think about that one. Right, staying on a Scottish theme, you might want to know a little bit about Brodie, my little helper here, a little dog, since his name is Brodie and it's a Scottish name. Now, Brodie is a rescue dog from the SSPCA, and we got him about 17 months ago. And the poor soul had a terrible start in life. And even when we went to see him, he wasn't quite ready for release yet, for rehoming. But we got him and we were stuck for a name. When we got him from the SSPCA, he was called Benny, and he just didn't look like a Benny. It didn't seem to suit him. So we were trying to think of a name. We were going to collect him in a couple of days. And we thought we'd better get a name ready before then. And we thought of Henry. But again, it didn't quite suit him. I was kind of hoping for a kind of Scottish name. And Henry sounded a bit too much like Harry, who was our last dog that we had just lost not long before getting Brodie. So, how did Brodie's name come about? Well, I was a teacher, and it was the end of term, because we got Brodie in June, and I got a present from one of the children, and when I opened it up, it was a lovely tea and biscuit hamper, and right in the middle of the hamper was a tin of Brodie's tea. So Brodie's tea comes from Edinburgh, quite a famous brand. It's a lovely brand of tea, one of my favourites that I've had for years and years. And as soon as I saw the name Brodie, I thought, that's it. That's what Brodie's to be called. And it was just perfect. He suits Brodie. It suits him. He suits his name. And I was so glad and so excited to have a name for him before we actually went to collect him. So there we go. That's our little story of how Brodie got his name, our little helper, who is he's under the desk just now in his bed, and he's been very good. He's not making a sound. So that makes a change for Brodie, because he's very sprightly. He's very fast. And finally, on our Scottish theme, I downloaded a pattern this morning from Etsy from a place called Mimu Dolls, I believe it is. I'll put the name up on the screen anyway, and I'll leave a link below too. And it's a little Scottish boy, and I really like this pattern. When I opened up the pattern, it had some of the logo or shop name in the background, which I didn't find very comfortable for using. So I contacted the seller and they are going to send me a copy without that. So always something to remember, people who are selling on Etsy or Lovecrafts or Ravelry, it's usually someone with their own small business and making up their patterns themselves, and sometimes they can adjust things if it doesn't suit you. It's always worth reaching out to them first to see if they can sort out your problem. And for me, it was just, I found the text too busy. There was too much there. So once I get that pattern through, I will try the little Scottish boy on from that pattern. Unfortunately, I won't have it ready for today, but I can show you the pattern that I've got. It's quite sweet. I'll let you know how I get on with that. So that ends it today for our St Andrew's Day video. Again, I'm sorry not to have something that's completed to show you, or something that I've designed myself to show you. I did say in one of my previous videos, I am very busy. I'm doing a lot of different jobs knitting wise, but I like to try and fit in some time for doing things for myself too. So that concludes today. So bye for now. If you're Scottish and celebrating St Andrew's Day, then have a lovely day. Thank you for joining me, and remember, if this is the kind of video you like to watch, please subscribe. Hit the like button if you feel that you enjoyed it, and if you want to share it with others, then that would be lovely too. So thank you again for joining me. I will see you for the next episode soon. Bye for now. Bye.